Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. I'm Elliot, aka EJB, and this is my face, and yes, this is my real voice. I've had a few complaints in the comments about the AI voice I've been using in my previous videos, so I thought for this series I'm going to trial using my actual voice. So please be kind but honest, and let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you prefer me using my actual voice, this
AI voice,
or a completely new AI voice altogether. For this project, I'm going to be building this 1/48 scale Focke-Wulf FW190 from Tamiya. I'm going to be building this thing straight out the box, so no add-ons, no frills, just straight up scale modelling. I'm not a professional plane builder by any stretch, but hopefully we can all learn a few things along the way. This first episode is mainly going to tackle the build and paint of the cockpit, the interior, and the main build of the plane. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. I'm going to have a quick look inside the box before we get started. At first glance, I am relieved to see there is a set of masks that will save a lot of faff with the canopy later on. The detail on this kit is actually very good, and there's a good amount of parts to make this an entertaining build. I will do a full review on this kit once built, but for now this is a build video, so let's get building. The first stage, as always with plane builds, is the cockpit, of which I've conveniently already started whilst in front of the telly. I glue these components to cocktail sticks ready for painting later on. Next, it's time to cut out the two halves of the fuselage and prepare the engine. I test fit the two halves of the fuselage together. I won't glue these until the interior is painted. Now it's time to actually start gluing some pieces together, starting with the exhaust stacks to both sides. Then the spinny wheelie thingy is glued into place on one side. I presume it's some kind of controls for the pilot. This kit comes with these vinyl stickers that go on the outside of the fuselage. These require cutting out with a scalpel before being stuck in place. These stickers allow for different options of plane within the one kit. The option I am choosing requires them, so I carefully cut them out and stick them down. After a fair bit of jiggery-pokery, I finally have the stickers in place, and I press them down using a cotton bud. The same is done on the other side before I move on to the engine construction. This requires a rubber grommet to be sandwiched in place between two plastic parts. Unfortunately, I lost this at some point, don't know where it went, so I had to raid the stash for a spare. Thankfully, I found one that pretty much fit. I just had to cut it down a tad. Once I have it small enough and I wedge it in place, I can finally glue the two components together. That's the first couple of stages of the build complete, but before I paint the interior, I move on to constructing the wings and undercarriage. The first step is to construct the well for the landing gear. Then there is a couple of holes that require drilling out for the drop tank. I get a 1.5mm drill bit and carefully drill through the marked locations. I then clean up the holes with some tweezers. Now we can construct the inner side of the wing, gluing in place the landing gear well. Next up, I cut out the top sides of the wings, of which there is more drilling to do. Again, I drill the holes and clean up with a scalpel. With the hole drilled, I can finally fit the two components in place. I then test fit the two halves of the wings together, only to find a small amount of cutting around the cannon positions is required. I carefully cut this with a scalpel and test fit again to make sure it fits perfectly before gluing it together. Now we're ready to actually glue the two pieces together. I start by ripping off a load of these tiny little pieces of masking tape. These I will use to hold the two pieces together while the glue cures. Then I add a healthy amount of extra thin cement and place the two halves together. I then use the masking tape to secure the two halves together and add a bit of quick dry cement to ensure a quick hold. This is then repeated around both wings. I leave the masking tape on until it is fully cured, only around 15-20 minutes or so. Once cured, the masking tape can then be removed. Unfortunately, some of the cement had seeped through the masking tape, so I used some 2500 grit sandpaper just to sand it smooth. Using this high grit sandpaper will protect the detail, but still give me a smooth surface. I rescribe a couple of the details with the end of the scalpel blade. Then I use the flat end of the scalpel just to scrape the edge of the wing. This will get rid of the seam completely, and then I sand smooth with the sandpaper. There was a small amount of filling that needed to be done around the cannon, so I whip out the trusty Tamiya cement and apply it with a cocktail stick. Then I scrape it smooth with the scalpel. Now I remove the rest of the masking tape and repeat the process on the other wing. Then there was a couple of details that needed applying to the underside of the wing. As you can see, the fitment is absolutely bob-on. I then fit the two machine guns to each of the wings. At this point, I have a decent amount of components ready for paint. So the first step is to apply a decent layer of primer. The primer I'm using for this task is this black one-shot primer by MIG Ammo. This stuff's great because it comes already mixed in the bottle, so there's no need to dilute it with any thinners. I lay a level coat over all the elements I plan to paint in this phase, mainly the interior elements and the engine components. Next is time for a layer of XF63 German Grey, which I will mix 50-50 with acrylic thinner. I use this finish to paint all of the cockpit parts of the plane. As you may already know by now, Tamiya paints are my go-to when it goes to airbrushing. I find they're very easy to handle when mixed correctly with the Tamiya acrylic thinner. Next is time to paint some details, starting with this khaki green for the seat pad. I dilute the paint with tap water and use a brush to hand paint it on. These Vallejo paints are my go-to for hand painting. When diluted with tap water, they're very easy to paint on and leave a really nice streakless finish. Next is time to paint some of the finer details of the interior using this flat black. I use this mainly for the control components of the interior of the plane. I'm not going to go ham with the cockpit on this build, as I plan to have the canopy closed, so most of it won't be seen. I will go ham with a cockpit one day, but today is not that day. It's interior decal time next, of which the first stage is to lay down some gloss clear coat. For this task I'm using this Tamiya clear gloss, again mixed 50-50 with acrylic thinner. This will help the decals sit flush with the surface and reduce silvering later on. I also gloss coat the engine whilst I have it in the airbrush. Now to apply the decals. I start by cutting out the one I want to apply, in this case it's a set of dials, and then soak it in some lukewarm water. In the meantime, I'll whip out the microset and apply it to the area the decal will be applied. When the decal has been soaked long enough to release from its backing, I carefully slide it into place. I use some tweezers to adjust the positioning and a cotton bud to soak up any excess water. I then apply another coat of microset for good measure. This will just help soften the decal slightly. I then press the decal in with a cotton bud, just to shape it around the dials as best I can. Now it's time for the micro sole. This stuff is used to soften the decal further and help it form around the moulding. I soak the decal in the microset, then let it sit and do its magic for about 5 minutes or so. Then, using a damp cotton bud, I press the decal into the moulding to help it form around the dials. This process is then repeated until it has nicely formed around all the dials. A word of caution when using this stuff: it can be very harsh on the decal. Overusing it could cause it to split, and pressing too hard with a cotton bud can also cause it to stick. Little and often is definitely the way to go. And that's the first decal done. Not the greatest, but will do for this model. Now it's just a small task of repeating that process over all the other decals in the cockpit. There are only 2 more in fairness, starting with the extra dials. I always find this the worst part of any plane build, applying these fiddly little decals to the cockpit. In my brain, I just want to crack on and get building, and it's always right at the beginning of any build, but they do add a lot of nice detail. Once the dials are fitted, it's just time to add in the seat belts. These take a little bit more jiggery pokery than the dials, just to get them to sit in on the seat pad correctly. Next, I get out the Tamiya weathering master to add some silver weathering to the engine and the edges of the cockpit. This is a very subtle effect that just gives a slight worn effect whilst highlighting some details. A small tip: to revive your dried out weathering master, add a small amount of isopropyl alcohol to it. That will loosen it up and get it working again. The final stage to the cockpit is to clear coat using this satin varnish by VMS. This stuff comes pre-mixed so it can be sprayed straight from the bottle. A level coat of this will both protect the decals and bring the gloss down to a nice satin finish. Next, I glue the instrument panel in place using quick dry cement, applying it behind the panel where it can't be seen. If you get this cement on the paint, it will literally melt it away. And that's the cockpit done. Hurrah! Now we can finally start putting the plane together. To do this, I simply put the 2 halves together and start applying extra thin cement and quick dry cement along the seam. This uses capillary action to draw in the cement into the gap. I then use the quick dry cement to ensure a good hold. The fitment of the 2 halves is superb, so no need for taping or filling along this one. Now for the fun part, dealing with that horrible seam. I start in the cockpit area, ensuring the interior dash panel is smooth. This took a fair bit of cutting and scraping with a scalpel to get it there. Next, I use the edge of the blade to scrape the seam smooth on the tail. I keep going until I have a relatively smooth surface, and then I'll whip out the 2500 grit sandpaper and sand until it's completely smooth. Any details I lose in the sanding, I rescribe using a scalpel. A scribing tool will be better suited for this task, but I'm yet to invest in one. The process is repeated across the whole seam. This kit is built so most of the seam is actually hidden by the parts that will be attached later on, which means it's a relatively painless process. Now the seam is silky smooth, we can now do the bulk of the construction. First, the cockpit is fitted in place and glued in via the reverse side of the tab, and anywhere that can't be seen. The last thing we want to do now is ruin the paintwork of the cockpit at the last minute. Next, the wing construction can be clipped in place after a fair bit of persuasion and glued together. Again, I go round with a quick dry cement on all the joins. I'm quite thorough with this part. The last thing we want is the plane splitting apart later down the line. Once the cement is cured, I clean up the join with some sandpaper, again using the 2500 grit. There's a small amount of carving required to the inner portion of the wing where it meets the fuselage. It didn't quite line up properly, so I carved it enough just so it was flat. I go over the area with a quick dry cement. This just melts the plastic slightly and smooths out the join further. A small amount of scraping and sanding to the rear of the wing, and that's the wings in place. The engine is glued in place next, followed by the engine cowling. This again is glued from the outside, then pressure is applied until it holds. Being quick dry cement, this doesn't take very long. And finally, the tail wings can be glued in place. These are just one piece, so are cleaned up and glued on. And now we have a very Focke-Wulf looking 190. And with the main bulk of the plane built, that is where I'm going to leave this video. If you have found this video helpful or even mildly entertaining, please do hit those like and subscribe buttons and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next time out, we'll get the rest of the build phase complete and potentially move on to the painting phase of the build, so stay tuned for that. But for now, farewell and happy modelling everybody.